Why the world's most disciplined people schedule failure on purpose. The most disciplined people on the planet plan to fail every single week, and they do it on purpose. This sounds backwards. Discipline is supposed to be about winning, about streaks that never break and habits that never slip. But the people who stay consistent for years are doing something almost nobody talks about. They build failure right into their schedule before the week even starts. There is a strange reason it works, and once it clicks, it changes how a person sees every goal they have ever quit on. So what does scheduled failure actually look like? And why does it make people stronger instead of weaker? Why do streaks feel so good right up until they ruin everything? Picture someone 30 days into a new habit. The calendar is a wall of green check marks. It feels amazing. Every morning they wake up and protect that streak like it is made of glass. Then life happens. A sick kid, a late flight. One bad night of sleep, the chain breaks. And here is the part that catches almost everyone by surprise. The person does not just miss one day. They quit completely. Researchers have a name for this. They call it the what the heck effect. Once a perfect record is broken, the brain stops seeing the goal as worth protecting at all. One missed workout becomes a missed week. One skipped chapter becomes a closed book. The streak that felt like fuel turns into the exact thing that burns the whole project down. That is the trap. Perfect systems are fragile, and fragile things shatter. The most disciplined people figured this out a long time ago. And their answer is the opposite of what you would expect. They stopped chasing perfect. They started planning to miss. What happens when failure is part of the plan? Top performers do not aim for 7 days out of 7. They aim for something like 5 out of 7, and they decide that number ahead of time. Think about what that does. If the plan was always to hit the gym 5 days, then missing 2 days is not a failure at all. It is the plan working exactly as designed. There is no broken streak, because there was never a perfect streak to break. The what the heck effect has nothing to grab onto. This is sometimes called a minimum baseline. A writer might promise themselves just 1 sentence a day. A runner might promise just to put their shoes on. The bar is set so low that hitting it is almost guaranteed, even on the worst day. And on good days, they fly past it. The genius is in the buffer. By expecting to fall short sometimes, these people remove the shame that usually kills momentum. They treat an off day like a rest stop, not a car crash. They get back on track the next morning without any drama, because nothing actually went wrong. A missed day stops being proof that they are lazy. It becomes proof that the system is realistic. But does building in failure make people soft? This is the question that stops most people from trying it. If someone gives themselves permission to miss, won't they just miss every day? Won't the whole thing fall apart? It turns out the opposite is true, and the reason is about energy. Willpower is not endless. Every time a person forces themselves through guilt, frustration, and self-attack, they burn fuel they could have spent on the actual work. Perfectionists waste enormous amounts of energy beating themselves up. The disciplined crowd refuses to pay that tax. They skip the guilt entirely and save that energy for showing up tomorrow. There is also something deeper going on. When a person practices recovering from a small, planned slip, they are training the most important skill of all. Not the habit itself, but the ability to come back. Most people never build that muscle, because they treat every stumble as the end. The disciplined few stumble on purpose in safe and small ways, so that bouncing back becomes automatic. So when a real setback finally arrives, and it always does, they already know exactly what to do. They have rehearsed it dozens of times. They simply return to the baseline and keep going. Scheduled failure does not make people soft. It makes them impossible to knock out of the game. So why does almost nobody do this? If planned failure works so well, why is it so rare? The answer is uncomfortable. Most people are addicted to the feeling of a perfect record, even though that feeling is the thing hurting them. A streak gives a quick hit of pride. It feels like proof of being a good, Serious, disciplined person. Letting go of that feels like lowering the bar, and nobody wants to admit they need an easier target. So people cling to the all-or-nothing plan, fail, feel ashamed, and start over from zero a few weeks later. They mistake the painful cycle for effort, when really it is just spinning. There is a famous study on this idea using gym goers. People who were taught to expect and forgive their own lapses kept exercising far longer than the ones who demanded perfection from themselves. The forgiving group was not less serious. They were simply playing a longer game. And the long game is the only one that counts. Look closely at anyone who has stayed fit, stayed sober, or kept a craft alive for decades. Behind the scenes, they are not flawless. They have missed more days than most people ever attempt. The difference is that none of those misses ever turned into a quit. The people who win the long game are not the ones who never break. They are the ones who never let a break become the end. So how does a person actually put this into practice without using it as an excuse? The trick is to decide the numbers before the week begins, not in the middle of a hard day. Pick the real target, like for workouts instead of 7, and write it down somewhere you will see it. Then pick the tiny version too, the one sentence or the single push-up. So there is always a floor you can hit even when everything goes wrong. The plan is now built on 2 honest numbers instead of 1 impossible one. What makes this work is that the decision is made in a calm moment, by the version of you that is thinking clearly. When the rough day arrives, there is no negotiation and no guilt, because the plan already expected it. You simply drop to the floor, hit the tiny version, and keep the chain of showing up alive. That is the part people miss. The goal was never the perfect day. The goal was to never fully stop, and a planned floor makes stopping almost impossible. Here is what all of it comes down to. Discipline was never about being perfect. The streaks, the unbroken chains, the all-or-nothing pressure, that whole story is a setup for quitting. The people who last 4 years already know the secret. They expect to fall. They write the fall into the plan. And because the fall is expected, it loses every bit of its power. A goal does not die the day someone misses. It dies the day they decide that missing means they failed. Remove that single belief, and a person can chase the same goal for the rest of their life, falling 100 times and standing up 101. The strongest people in the room are not the ones who never fall down. They are the ones who already knew they would, and packed a plan for the floor. If this shifted the way you see your own goals, the best thing you can do is hit that subscribe button, because the next video builds directly on this one. Drop a like so more people stuck in the perfect streak trap can find it, and tell someone in the comments about a goal you are about to restart. See you in the next one.